Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2021 Kia Sportage, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 trailer hitch receiver. So it seems like our Sportage customers use their SUVs to do a little bit of everything. So if it were me, I would want a hitch to be able to handle pretty much anything you want to throw at it and look good too. And with this CURT setup here, I feel like it checks both of those boxes. So the hitch for the most part is going to be completely hidden. Really the only thing you're going to be able to see is kind of this center section hanging down. So it really does do a great job of kind of maintaining that factory appearance. And another thing I noticed is it's going to give us some pretty good bumper clearance. So what I mean by that, the end of the receiver tube sits just behind our bumper a little bit. So for those of you that plan on using a lot of folding accessories like a bike rack or cargo carrier, for example, this should give us the space that we need to be able to take those accessories, fold them in that upright position, and not have to worry about them contacting our bumper. So now just to kind of cover some of the basics, our hitch is going to have a reinforced collar here for extra strength. I think it looks good too. And it's going to have that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. So really common size and a ton of different accessories will work with it. It's going to have that standard 5/8 pin hole. Now keep in mind, a pin and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can grab it here at eTrailer. We're going to have plate style safety chain openings, which aren't huge, but they do give us quite a bit of room actually, and will allow us to use just about any size hook. Now as far as the hitch's weight capacities go, they're going to be pretty impressive actually. The maximum gross tongue weight rating is going to be 525 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. That's a pretty high number. You should be able to use just about any size bike rack or cargo carrier that you'd want to, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 3,500 pounds. And that's going to be the amount of weight that's pulling on the hitch. So it is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. I do always like to suggest, never a bad idea just to grab your Kia's owner's manual. That way you can make sure your Sportage can pull that much weight safely. And with that being said, if you do plan on doing some towing, not a bad idea to grab some trailer wiring. That way the lights on your trailer will match up with the lights on the back of your Kia and you'll be safe and legal. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements and you can use these to help figure out which hitch mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 14 inches. So if you do plan on doing some towing, chances are pretty good you're going to need to get a ball mount with a rise. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's going to be about 5.5 inches. And you can use that measurement to figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without contacting the bumper. So at the end of the day, you know, a hitch you really can't go wrong with. Honestly, I think this is one of the better looking ones available for the Sportage, and it's going to allow you to use those hitch mounted accessories and even do some towing. So really a great choice, honestly, all the way around. Now as far as the installation goes, really not too bad. You have to remove a couple of small panels on each side, but more or less the hitch just bolts up, so it really shouldn't give you a whole lot of issues or take you a whole lot of time. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and put it on together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be underneath the back of our Kia, and the first thing that we're going to need to do is remove the small underbody panel from each side of our vehicle. So starting on the passenger side, we're going to have a total of 3 push pins that we need to pull out. So we're going to have those 3 push pins, one here, and then 2 along this bottom edge. The way to get these out, you can use a trim tool or a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to just pry underneath the head of it and pull the whole thing out. And to actually get the panel removed, we can simply kind of just pull straight down on it. Get it removed and set it off to the side. Same thing over here on the driver's side, except we're only going to have 2 fasteners that are located here along this bottom edge. So again, we'll get these popped out. Then we can pull down on our panel and get it removed. Now what we can do is lower our exhaust a little bit That way it'll give us the room that we need to work. So before we do that, what I like to do is just take a strap and run it from side to side and tighten it up a little bit. That way the exhaust will have some support and we can kind of control how fast and how far we let it down. So to get the exhaust lowered, we're going to have two rubber isolator hangers just like this one here. So one on each side of our muffler. And what you want to do is spray these down with some soapy water or some type of lubricant. It just helps them come off. And then we can grab a pry bar and we're just going to work one end of that rubber isolator off of our actual metal hanger. So here's the other one on the other side, and we're just going to do that same thing to get it removed. And once we have them removed, we can loosen up our strap a little bit, and that'll allow us to kind of pull down on our exhaust and give us that extra space. Now we can go ahead and go over our attachment points, which we're going to use to secure the hitch. And they're going to be the same on both sides of our vehicle. So on each side, we're going to have a total of 4. We're going to have these 2 threaded weld nuts in the bottom of our frame rail. And then we're going to have 2 more threaded weld nuts on the side of our frame rail. Now what I suggest doing is taking a toothbrush and maybe some penetrating oil, something like that, just running it through those attachment points. That way we can clear out any potential dirt or debris that may be inside. And from this point on, I do want to mention anything we do to this side of the vehicle, we're also going to do on the other side because it'll be set up the same way. So before we put our hitch up, I'd just like to go over our hardware that we're going to use. And it'll be the same hardware combination for all of our attachment points. It's going to be really simple. We're just going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. And when you put the washer over the bolt, you want to make sure that the teeth on the washer are going to face up towards the hitch. So once we are holding our hitch in place, we're just going to take that hardware and thread it right into those weld nuts. So now with an extra set of hands, we can raise our hitch into position. So you may have to kind of pull back on your fascia a little bit, give you the room you need. We'll line the hitch up. And we want to get at least 1 bolt started on each side, hand tight. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the hardware. So once all of our hardware is in place and hand tight, we can come back with an 11/16 size socket and snug everything down. Once everything is snug down, we can come back with a torque wrench and tighten it all to the amount specified in our instructions. So now that we have our hitch completely secure, we can raise our exhaust back into position. So I sprayed the hangers down again, and this time you can kind of just line it up by hand and push the hangers in place. And once the exhaust is supporting itself, we can go ahead and remove our strap. Now at this point, we can go ahead and reinstall both of our underbody panels the opposite way that we removed them. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Class 3 Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2021 Kia Sportage.